Lifecycle. Eric and I are going to host this. We got it's very casual. We got a bunch of strategies. We're going to come up and talk about deals we've done in the last 12 months. Feel free to ask questions, interrupt us, give us best practices, whatever you as far as Eric runs operations and all our agency sales. So those of you I'm sure know Eric. Simon Ducardi here runs what we call managed services. So that's expense. Simon runs number 1 and 2. Simon's got about 50 folks under him. But I'm going to take you through our products real quick, and then we'll get right into just case studies that we've done. Okay, this is our product line. A couple products under each. Expense management can usually take the form of either an audit or us managing the invoices on an ongoing basis. Think telecom, they can spread a little more into other services, but it's network and telecom is really where we do best. We have a great audit team. That's usually done as a percentage of savings, so fairly risk-free for a client. Highly encourage you to do that. Interesting fact, that group is run by my ex-wife. So, see somebody on that stage, not my sister. We manage about 70,000 mobile devices.
One of them is very talented, by the way.
What's that?
One of them is very talented.
That's exactly right. My wife loves it. She still has my last name. We manage about 70,000 mobile devices. When we say mobile, that means corporate mobile. We can do activations. You guys can be paid on those. We can manage everything. We have our help desk. That all reports up through Simon. We do about 70,000 tickets a year. We also do mobile audits. It's called mobile optimization study. Again, percentage of savings. Very risk-free for a client, great introductory product. Then we have transition management. That is project management of a transition from one technology to another, or one provider to another. We sit on the client side. You'll hear a lot about that today. It's the most popular product in the Bridgepointe strategist world. Tad's going to talk about 2 of those he's done with us. But that's a really good team. You'll hear a lot about that today. And then lastly, we do sourcing. There's a group in Kansas City that run RFPs for a fee, usually a percentage of savings, same thing. So if you guys are running RFPs now, and you don't want to run them anymore, we can do it. Clients will pay for that. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a second.
Right. What's the biggest money maker?
It depends. Sourcing, highest margin. We do the best there. But I don't know, you're the numbers guy.
For the strategist, biggest money maker? Probably over the long term, expense management deal like we're doing at 10 is the biggest money maker. Yeah, Charlie, where's Charlie? Oh, there he is. I knew he was around. So like that deal, I mean, I think it's paying what, $3,000 a month.
In the commissions.
In commission.
So what's the percentage? 10%. 10% of the gross. It's not whatever they're billing. Bridgepointe, because they're Bridgepointe, they don't take a piece of that. So we get 10% of whatever it bills.
And a real quick one, Eric, you mentioned $30K a month, and that's actually the starting point. As LCS ingests more and more invoices into the tool, as the customer finds more value in what Bridgepointe and LCS are doing, that number gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, that was our biggest deal of the year, by the way. We closed a pretty big deal with another customer, with Charlie and Tad.
And Brian.
That was our biggest
You'll
deal.
hear about that here in a second.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
Not to go totally.
That's fine.
In those expense management deals, are most of the time, are they net new engagements with the town or customer, or are they migrating from another town?
Mostly net new. You'll see a couple that we've taken away from it. So I want to take, if somebody's got a 10, the first question should be, do you like the 10? And 9 times out of 10, they're going to say no. And then that's our thing to do. If they're happy with their 10, you're never going to displace them.
Yep.
So move on to something else. And then anything you'll hear this, the whole theme today is how these products drive agency improvement. You're going to see that in the case studies. All the agency stays with you. We take no cut of that. Even if we find it, still stays with you. Our job is to drive agency. That's why Bridgepointe acquired us, so that you guys can get more agency out of your existing clients. And you'll see that through better visibility of your clients, when your contracts end, all that kind of stuff. All right? Here's just a couple ways it does that. On implementation, transition management, that's that practice. This removes all the hurdles. The client says, I don't have time to move, I don't have the staff to move. We can be that staff. Again, if they're going from premises-based to UCAS, that UCAS provider will have a PM. We're across the table with the client's PM. The client doesn't need to pull anybody off of the project, off the street. We function in that. So all the things the client's responsible for is what we do. You don't have to manage the project. A lot of you do that yourself. You don't need to. Spend your time selling. And you can pay for it. Most clients pay for it. We can also be creative on a deal, have a vendor, maybe kick in a credit to fund those kind of things. We've been doing that for 20 years. So you get the winning vendor to throw a 2-month credit in there and pay for us to do the project. And everything goes in faster. You know, we quote that we install things 2 to 4 months faster than if we were to buy. Because clients have competing priorities, they can't focus on a deal. We come in, that's all we do is focus on that deal, get their services in as fast as possible. So then the commissions will flow faster.
Do you have a size minimum on that,
What's that?
you require? Do you have a size minimum that you require?
It depends on the product. So depending, I think we met out in right, where was that, Columbus? Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, it just depends on the product. So we can talk about.
On project management,
Yeah.
it's 10 sites maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it depends how strategic it is for you, that's.
So you're not doing like a 50 phone UCAS?
Well, you parallel, like, we actually.
I know, but we're getting,
Okay, so-
I asked because we're getting busy and we're trying to offload
We can,
implementation.
if you need that, we can help out.
Okay,
We just did one of those for home.
Yes. Yeah, we did a 5 because Owen, he's not here. Owen Hayes is like, I really need you to do this because the strategist needs help. We did a 5. So in those cases.
Expense management, main thing is visibility. You get to see everything. What they're paying your competitors, what services you don't currently have, when their contracts expire, all that will be at your fingertips. We'll bring it to your attention too. Hey, these contracts are coming up due. You want to put competitive pricing in front of the client, you want to negotiate with the incumbent, whatever it may be, you're going to see everything. That's the key there. And it's like shooting fish in a barrel. When we got acquired, we weren't really in the agent space. Frankly, and Eric leads this, we've been killing because we see everything. We know when everything expires. It's almost too easy. We disclose it to the client, they know everything. But so we do the same thing with your clients.
Yeah, really, this was a business model that Charlie perfected too with Realcomm, so we can talk about it a little bit, but very similar business model, put the 10 in and understand what's there and then upsell on the agency side. So, it's super successful.
You're going to see some audits. We adapted our process since we've been acquired. Normally we do an audit, find billing errors, find contracts that expired, services that are not being used. Now we actually, as part of our output, we do competitive offers as well, as part of the output. Again, all that agency is yours, but we're going to do that as part of the process. So it's not just a fee we're going to get out of it. 9 times out of 10, there's agencies work. Sourcing, this team runs RFPs and does incumbent negotiations for a fee. It's how we started 28 years ago. Clients will pay for this, trust me. One of the things we were slightly worried about when we were acquired was could we run an RFP and still be covered by the agency? And the answer, thanks to Dom, is yes. We disclose it to the client. Knock wood, no one has ever had a problem with it. We say, hey, we're required by Bridgepointe. They get agency commission. Are you okay with that? They always say yes. We put it in the contract, so it's clear. So you can get paid for the RFP and the agency on the back end and represent all the vendors. Okay, go ahead.
So if they start as an LCS customer, and then you find an opportunity for us to sell with the supplier, is that considered a new logo then, from a commission perspective?
No, you're getting 10 no matter what. Upsells, anything. So I'm not sure I follow.
Yeah, your plan is a little bit different, Dave. We can talk about how that.
Okay.
Because I know you guys are all planned out for a new logo, so that's really a parallel thing, but any new agency for any customer that we haven't done, regardless if we're there, is technically a new deal within Bridgepointe.
Okay.
Right?
No, I think now this is where you're gonna be, Dave, but if it's just an audit or it's just an expense management, and 8 months later they find it, you have opportunities, you're gonna see it. Okay. Yeah, so you're protected at the account. Correct.
Yeah, we're in with you, right? We're Bridgepointe corporate.
Yeah, we were
right.
fully
Yeah, so we're here to help you.
Mobile's been the slowest thing we've sold with agents. We've done a couple deals, you'll see one here in a minute. But we can manage mobile, manage expenses, help desk. We have an online portal, online store, activations, all those kind of things. I highly encourage you to ask your clients if they have corporate mobile. I guarantee they're struggling with it, and we can help them with that. And again, you get paid on the activations as well. We have a really good commission structure there as well. But yeah, think about mobile. All right? Okay.
Yes, in the back.
I don't really want to comment on that. In terms of stickiness. And then you're thinking mobile, you know, like I make a couple bucks on activations, I have this, when you add mobile management, other people have problems. Just think about how great that experience is. They're calling an 800 number where somebody's canceling Bridgepointe. They're going to order a new mobile phone so that people, I don't want a portal that says Bridgepointe. I mean, don't sleep on that idea. You know, if you're walking into the bank and there's a $5 bill there, you pick it up before you go in and do your deposit. Don't underthink the mobile piece. It should be part of every single conversation you have.
Yep, absolutely.
Is that global up, like London and Canada?
No, it's really, the mobile, it's really.
It's a good question.
Yeah, it is a good question. You know what, local,
What was the response to that?
Ron, don't walk around. There's no money.
So international mobile question, we signed one of it.
For,
So you definitely look at it. So the primary product where my team is offering the mobile support.
Wanna say it out loud?
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. So, sorry, Zach. Mobile support, so it is US focused, but we can support global. We do use partners and we outsource those calls. So I have a team in Bluebell, Jersey, as well as in Montana that will take some of those calls. But if it's international call, you need a local language or you need support, we actually have a partner that outsources that call. It could be one seamless flow. So
but we can't do activations.
Not activations,
There's
for
no
agents.
commission money if we're doing global phones, just to be clear. You can manage it, but even that, you know, there has to be critical mass.
Correct. So you get international mobile is a bear for anybody.
Yeah.
We partner with Tango. If they can't do it, no one can. It's just, it's got hair on it. International mobile is a pain. It's got, so I would encourage you to focus on the best team. Yeah, go ahead.
When you're doing the Tango, is it still brand Bridgepointe?
Absolutely. That's, I shouldn't even mention it. It's all ours. It's behind the curtain.
Yes.
Basically. Yeah.
What's the minimum mobility?
$4,000 a month, our fee is the minimum. Same with expense management. So we don't have a size. I have some clients who are very small, and we're going to pay $48,000 a year for to manage it. But that's $4,000 minimum for expense and mobile.
Okay, now just Simon is money.
Yeah.
He's really, really.
And normally it's about 1.5% of the flow through the tool. So as long as you get to the point where 1.5% equals more than $4,000.
Yeah, we have a grid in it, yeah.
So, I mean, I think they can get more aggressive on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
just renegotiate this.
Okay, just a couple stats. We did 25 deals with you guys last year. We're at 52 year to date. Probably will be needing. Gordon will probably tell me I gotta do 120. So, yeah, don't give me too many more. So yeah, we're very happy. Thank you for all the business, for those who've done business with us. Several clients have done multiple deals with us, Tad being one, Brian Moore another, several guys in New Jersey. And that's a good segue for Tad, who did a deal with the Big Hotel.
Which one? You spelled my name wrong. Oh, no big deal. So Omni Hotels, everybody knows who Omni Hotels is, right? So we went in, they were actually the first client that I had as an agent. So they were maybe the second client. And it was an internet circuit, and then we negotiated with them to do their technology expense management. And then this year we have gotten to the point where we have optimized and looked at everything and brought them and said, look, you don't have the resources at your disposal to pull off 66 installs and change orders and disconnects of old services and all this stuff. The partner that had been in there before had installed 2 circuits from the same carrier on the same equipment, on the same network, on the same everything, and called them redundant. And they were, right? They were redundant to one another, but if one of them went down, the other one went down, and did the hotels no good. So we're in the process of fixing all that. Convinced them to hire Bridgepointe as the project management team. And so these guys have come in, and we were just at the very beginning of that project, but I know from experience with the next one that I'm going to talk about, they're doing all that stuff. And so we meet once a week with the technology expense management provider lead, And they go through all of their bills and they're like, here are optimization places that are opportunities for you to either get rid of something. They're going through the process right now, looking at things that aren't being used. So I'm a one-man band, and I work with, partner with other people on this account, but if I didn't have these guys, I wouldn't be able to do everything that I am doing. There's just no way. And in the past, I have always tried to do this on my own, or the company that I was with, we had resources that could do this. But as a strategist, I don't have project managers on my team. I don't have, I don't have these people. And my clients are all willing to pay for it. So I have just embraced it, and they've helped me grow my business significantly faster than I could have done on my own, and I'm getting paid on it to boot. So.
And then Tad, I mean, just in terms of all those complex orders that are going on at Omni, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but getting paid to get that done faster, right? That stuff rolled out
Yeah.
much faster than doing it yourself or relying on the customer.
Because y'all know we don't get paid until the customer pays their bill.
Why don't you stay, I was doing it at the end, why don't you just do Old Castle while you're here?
Yeah, so Old Castle Building Envelope, they're a manufacturing company. They do all the glasses on high-rise buildings, all the outside glass, and then all the giant door fixtures and things like that. So they have 80 or something manufacturing plants. But they also had an old Cisco phone system, and we had done business with the guy that had gone back to this company, and he was like, hey, we're gonna move to a platform. We sold them UCAS and CCAS, so they bought 100 seats of CCAS and 2,000 seats of UCAS. And we get into the project, we're in the project for 4 days, and I go, oh crap, these people have no idea what they're doing. They were terrible, I mean, they just didn't know what they were doing. And so we brought in these guys, and they brought in those people.
The client or the provider?
The client had no idea what they had bitten off. And they had a deadline, they had a runway that they were gonna run out of, and it was 6 months. But, I mean, I knew in day 3 it was gonna be a train wreck. And so we started going, hey, we can get you some project management resources. The guy realized that the staff didn't know what they were doing. I mean, they knew a little bit about what they were doing. They'd been on a premise-based PBX system for their contact center for the last 20 years, in the same system. And so they were moving from that. They chose 8x8. These guys' team came in. Your team admitted from the get-go, they were like, we know nothing about contact centers, but we do know UCAS, and we think that we can translate that business. And I mean, so it took a while to get all the SOWs signed and all that stuff, but within 72 hours of them taking over, they had an executive presentation put together for the business leaders saying, here's all the milestones, here's all the things that you need to do. People were calling me on the side going, who are these people? And we actually think that this project's gonna be successful now because of Bridgepointe. And so, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. It truly was, I mean, it was on a derailed train. I mean, it was gonna not look good at all. So, these guys saved our bacon,
Can I
yes.
ask you a question? So when you sold the CCAS, was there no implementation sold from the CCAS provider?
Yes, so here's the thing. We did a 60-day proof of concept where the client went through the process with 2 different CCAS providers, and they went through the whole entire thing going, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, uh-huh. I'm like going, this is great. You know, and the executive had some experience with one of the providers, and so he was like, hey, our team loved this. They chose 8x8. So our team, they loved the presentation that 8x8 did. They did a great job. They went through the whole proof of concept. But the minute that they turned it over, because they actually build the production environment. I mean, this is minutia. They build the production environment. So when they went towards production, these people started asking questions that were answered in day 2 of the proof of concept. And the people at 8x8 were like, hey, you guys already signed off on this. like, they had to sign off on a document that said that we had tested all this stuff. And they were just on there going, yeah, oh, awesome, oh, yeah, this is great. It wasn't great. Matter of fact, I didn't sleep for 5 days because I was like, well, this is gonna be so bad. I mean, it was career ending for, our friend and client that's been our client forever. I mean, it was gonna be a nightmare.
But wasn't there an 8x8 somebody?
There was, they
That's what I
actually
got.
paid $150,000 for the installation team from 8x8. However, all of those people require that the client do some upfront work
that's
and
the
sign
basic
off
right
on
there.
everything, right? It doesn't, and there was no governance around it. There was no one holding anyone accountable, and so their team came in, started holding the client accountable, started holding the, whenever the vendor was not doing what they said they were gonna do, but they were pretty much always doing what they said they were going to do. We had to push a little bit, we had to escalate and things like that, but their team held the client team accountable, started to identify who the problem children were so that we could call them out. And behind the scenes, like, we didn't do this in front of everybody, but we were able to go to the executive leadership team and go, hey, these 3 people that are responsible for this portion of the project, they're very, very weak in this area and they're gonna need some support. And then they would bring other people. But none of that was possible unless these people were there holding them accountable and driving this thing through. And so we came in 2 weeks ahead of schedule as a result of that. And so, and we have since upgraded and added things, and it's been fun. So yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ted.
Is that
All
it?
right.
Charlie, you gonna do this?
Yeah, Charlie and Eric.
We can do it. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, y'all know it. This is another one, man, where, yeah.
Ted, real quick, what were the size of those deals? How big were they?
So 100 seats of CCAS at $100.
Just the.
Our fee?
Oh,
Oh, it's ongoing. I mean, like the
Yeah.
first, we did it as a bucket of hours, Chris, so.
50 grand to start
yeah.
out,
Okay.
Yeah.
and then buckets of 20 hours, and you've already built them once or twice more.
Yeah, I think we
So,
went 56.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. And then when we did this, when we did the circuit deal too, so all 80 of these things needed circuits, it was a no-brainer for them to go, hey, I was like, hey, you want to have the project manager that's been doing your UCAS and CCAS stuff? And they were like, yeah. And so they've signed that. And now we're doing all of the network too, so.
And I think network, we're doing field services too, right? Aren't we doing?
We are, so we're using a third party to do the dispatch work that I've used in the past in some of my hotel business work. And so their project management team is going to run the different suppliers, so the network suppliers as well as the dispatch people. And so they'll blend and get on a phone call and make sure that everybody's doing everything. Yeah.
I got a question for the audience. What about like hot signs and things like that? Are we, I know you can auto build, but what about like testing, toning, and things like that? Are you
Yep.
sending that out? Okay.
Yeah.
We have a company who do field support. So smart hands, installate wiring, anything, all on our paper. It's a third party, but we've been using it for 20 years.
So we're using the third party, we're using their entire outsource team for OBE. For Omni, we're using the dispatch people that I used in the hotel business before. So they're using third party, so you can merge 2 things together and they'll handle all that. Or you can use them internally and it's just a.
Most times on these type of projects, this was a bucket of hours. A lot of times, 90% of the time it's fixed fee. We'll
And
just
the
give
one
you a
for
fee.
Omni is fixed fee.
Yeah.
So,
I just on POTS, because we're talking about it, oh, sorry.
Well, I'm just gonna go back to like the 8x8, so if they're paying, the client's paying 115,000 per PM for 8x8.
huh?
I guess the idea is if they don't have a PMO on their side, the client's side to manage.
That's right.
That's it.
They did have a PMO on their side. They were not, that's the word I'm looking for. They didn't have the correct skill sets to accomplish the tasks within the given time period.
But we want to know how to, what we're not going to do is put $150,000 implementation and wait for them to suck and then say, oh, by the way, here's Bridgepointe. How do we propose Bridgepointe right from
Here's
day
how
one?
I do it. I say, who are you signing to this project? To the client.
Okay.
And they go,
I didn't know this.
I don't have anybody, or yeah, they're overwhelmed, and they don't normally have, nobody's sitting around, right? And then we say, we can do that. And they go, okay, great, do it. So they're gonna find somebody, either internally or externally, to run that project. And we're just against it.
And there's not, how much pushback you get, well, we're already paying 8x8s, now they're supposed to be.
Right.
Well, the minute,
That's what.
the minute that the leadership team, whenever they sat in on a couple calls, they realized what was going on and they realized what was gonna happen. And the amount of money that we were going to be saving this company by moving off of the premise-based PBX platform and onto the UCAS and CCAS platform, the ROI was like 3 months.
Yeah.
So, and it was a 5-year deal, so, I mean, they were like, hey, this is simple for us to go ahead and give you guys another 100.
If you've ever seen a project plan, sorry, let me move on. There's always a column for what the client's responsible for. Even if they sign up for implementation, 8x8 or Zoom or whatever, client's got responsibilities. That's the column we're doing, that stuff. Zoom can do their stuff, or 8x8, that's different. Turn off the old services, schedule and attend the cutovers. All the kind of things that a vendor's not gonna do, that's the part we do.
And this client said, we got this. And then 3 days into it, we went, ooh.
Do you ever do the 8x8 piece for them?
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
Do you do the other side too? Like, hey, don't pay for implementation with 8x8, we'll do the 8x8.
Yeah, we can do that, we've done it before.
Okay.
Yeah, the configuration stuff.
We also have
Like actually, one of the things that happens that we do, to give you an idea of the full scope, is especially, one of the critical things is where's it coming from, whether it's coming from on-prem or another cloud provider. So we'll start there. We have experts that can go into Cisco, pull the configurations of Avaya, whoever it is. We'll pull all that information and then we'll map it over to 8x8 or wherever. We actually use Troy to do it in Zoom. So, you know, we're parallel.
But that's the value of
Like,
that,
that's-
because that's something tangible I can take
Yeah.
back and say, Bridgepointe can do this, because
Yeah.
everyone's like, can you just copy my programming? No.
Yeah, but
And Chris, I apologize for the interruption. I'd like to say up front, before you ever allow 8x8 to do that proposal and propose the implementation, make certain that you advise 8x8 that Bridgepointe will be doing the implementation, because once they propose it, they'll have sourced it out to other folks, and then you lose control. Does that make sense? And I've experienced that. So, control it up front. This is our deal. We're bringing this deal to you. Bridgepointe CX is going to do the design, the implementation, the pro services, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then work with Bridgepointe CX and or LCS.
Yes, the team up here will do UC, and then Bridgepointe CX will do this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
work together.
yeah,
Saw that-
balance here. Yeah.
Saw that on the previous slide. We're hand in glove with them on the one we just had up there.
Yeah, we work pretty tight, like we're doing a couple of, Centerstone, I think is one. Actually, my client, Wawa, we're working together on, you know, they're doing the Zoom CX side, and my team's doing the Zoom UC side. So, you know, we work pretty much hand in glove with them.
Okay, thanks, Liz.
No problem. Do you want to talk about tenor?
Yeah, so our biggest deal from the strategists this year, you know, came from Charlie, Tad, and Brian Moore. That's, I feel like, Charlie, you should really talk about this one instead of me.
No, feel free. You're the expert here. I'll tell you what. I'll add it from this perspective. No, I mean this. You know, Real-Time Solutions had what I call a basic vanilla package of expense management and so forth, and things that we did. And 2 years ago, we all got together as a family. It was an easy decision for me to back out, if you will, and turn the keys over to these guys. The difference between, you know, vanilla and Rocky Road is immense. And so these guys did an amazing job, and it really became easy. An easy button is to basically say, hey, engage these guys, and these guys can take it from A to Z. They simplify our life. I mean, they save us a significant amount of time. And the extensiveness of what they can do is unparalleled in the marketplace. And so we had a large client with a large spend. Tenet Healthcare is a for-profit hospital, probably one of the largest for-profit healthcare departments out there, the Fortune 200 and under. And they have had a new VP of IT. Fortunately, we had worked with this VP of IT at two previous companies. He knew what to do. And, you know, he was trying to get his arms around everything that was there. The spend was completely out of control, the contracts were out of control, the vendors were out of control. The number of SD wins that he had within his network was out of control. He didn't have access or visibility really to anything. And so we became the easy button. Chris flew down from Philadelphia, had a nice vendor meet with both procurement, infrastructure, the contact and so forth. Had a great presentation. We had a follow-up. I'll say this, I think Gordon, Bridgepointe LCS, Bridgepointe worked together to make sure the numbers worked out. But we basically took everything from soup to nuts, anywhere from basically audit analysis,
Running RFP.
Running an RFP, order management, project management, expense management, inventory management, A to Z, the gamut, mobility management, and it became an easy one.
And huge agency opportunities, right?
Oh, yeah, forgot about the agency.
I want to make one comment. So I'd never worked with the RFP people before out of Kansas City, and Tara, total badass. I mean, seriously, isn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, she takes no nonsense. She has got her stuff together, and they do a contract audit and compliance job like I've never seen anybody do. I don't know about y'all, but I hate reading contracts. So anytime someone else can read them and explain them to someone else.
Yeah, and
I'm like,
to the intent says, you know, we used to quote unquote insource that and do that ourselves, especially if I can see real time and or as individuals, you all are taking that on yourself, you're adjusting the invoices, you're looking at the contracts, you're looking at the end dates, so on and so forth. And these guys were great to work with a very aggressive price point and some concessions out of the gate. And we mentioned a $30,000 deal, and the reality is after 6 months, it will probably be billing, you know, $50,000 on a monthly basis. But they gave some concessions up front. They gave, and I hope you guys don't mind saying, they gave some concessions for order management and project management as well. They came down there a little more aggressive from their price point, but completely the easy button. And so Tad and Brian, amongst others, are able to go out and focus on other things, and we have weekly check-in calls with both the client and the LCS team, and as Ted said with Tara and the RFP team, they're running with all that.
Charlie, because of what we're doing, the suppliers that are in place right now, seeing the value that's being provided, allowing us to get paid on a go-forward basis on services that we did not sell.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, if you were to try to, what Brian said, try to deploy a network and you had a wholesale carrier migration and ordered circuits, so on and so forth, it'd take you a good bit of time, obviously, to get compensated on that. But also the client endorsed our involvement, provided all the LOAs, said here's our go-to team, et cetera, work with them. So consequently, all the carriers, one by one, and there's a slew of them, you know, got in line. They said, you know, when we renew this business, we will compensate you on it. So instead of deploying a significant network, getting paid out of the gate. So everyone went in line and authorized that. Whether I can say that a carrier or not, great carrier, big carrier, huge carrier, a carrier. They didn't want us to work with them at first. They wanted to give us the Heisman, and the client said, you know, no, let's open the gates, let these guys work with them. And we got that approval, and now the carrier is saying, man, you know, you guys are making our job easy for us, and really happy to work with us.
I know we need to get going. Just one last thing on this. I know we're talking about a big deal with a lot of spend, but this model is a cookie cutter across anything, and you know, any size customer. Of course, you know, we have a minimum of 40,000 a month because there's a lot of fixed costs, but like we have this model in place for one of our own customers that's you know, significantly smaller than 10. That's the same exact thing. We do 10 for them. We're planning to do 10 for them. We do ordering. We did inventory. We did mobile optimization. You know, this whole kind of package is available, and it makes your life a heck of a lot easier. Plus, it gives you visibility and all the other benefits that Charlie talked about. So, you know, we're Bridgepointe Corporate, right? We're here to help you do more agency business.
So speaking of visibility, I want to have Ryan everybody come up here, talk about health.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of the project plans themselves, when you're deploying a customer project, do we as strategists have visibility to that plan and the activity and the dashboards and, the overall kind of like, implementation plan and risk governance and all that stuff?
Yeah, you do, or we have a meeting, we have an interim meeting to catch up on it. We are migrating to Smartsheet. We use Excel today. A lot of times we use a customer's plan. If it's our stuff, it's one thing, but so Smartsheet is giving us more of a collaborative, so that'll come out the next month. We're close on it, so you'll have access into the Smartsheets of everything we're doing.
Ryan, take it away.
Healthwork Diamond might represent something that a lot of you have heard before. We had a client that had a tremendous spend with AT&T. They weren't loving AT&T. Roughly $120,000 a month of spend of just simple DIA broadband type services. The problem was that we did a quote back, said, hey, we're going to be able to do this for like $35,000 a month. They're like, not a chance. We don't believe anything you have to say. There's no way it's that much cheaper. AT&T blocked everything. They wouldn't show them bills. They wouldn't show them the contracts. They wouldn't show them the end dates. They showed them absolutely nothing. So we went forth. We actually used your sister,
My ex-wife.
who is, by the way, amazing.
Yes.
Like literally, she's better than Chris.
No, she is.
She went through every single contract. She beat the crap out of AT&T, knew more about their services than they did, got around them, got to the endpoints, got every access to every portal, and pulled data out that they've been looking at for 2 years. The net was we were proven exactly right. We got the whole contract. The amount of savings we got actually paid for a very large Cato deal to go in. Here's the crazy part. They're now spending about $65,000 a month with all broadband, fully redundant, with Cato, everything all in for half the price of AT&T. And ironically enough, Scout named Pam found $3.8 million in oversubscription costs. Overbilling for sites that have been closed, overbilling on contracts, like triple billing for broadband services that did not exist. Absolute abject fraud. AT&T was blocking them, the customer, from seeing their own bills because of that reason. They knew it full well, and they tried blocking everybody throughout the case. We have since then not been doing such great work with AT&T, but anytime you see that kind of a block, we have a great case study we used on it, we have a great PowerPoint we did on it, and they did exactly what they said they would do, on time, on schedule, for a very, very low cost.
Awesome, Jeff. How much did you recover from AT&T? How much did they give back in terms of credit?
So we offered that, but because of the conflict in legal, Hellsberg Diamonds has a pretty fantastic legal department. They chose to go after all in and wanted to make it settle, and there was no, I can't buy a town, and they were suing for billions, So we stayed out of it. We offered it.
Their legal work with AT&T to recover as much of that.
They have not. They're literally just suing in court.
Ryan, did you say you already have them in a case study?
They are doing a case study.
Yeah, you should have this up.
And I'm gonna go outside the bounds and go to a different account. So we actually sold another deal that does have a case study for mobile management. And I will tell you, we went from I apologize for that, it's not on the slide. We had an account that had something like 20,000 phones. We heard about the pain every single day. I don't do anything with cell phones. Like, what the hell do I care about cell phones? Chris said, let us in, let us in, let us in. We let them in, and literally it stopped. Literally stopped. We started making money on it. The cell phone plans they went simple, they saved money, it was cost effective, day one. And the guy that did that literally didn't have a job anymore. He was spending his entire job doing it, and now he does other stuff. So there's this giant, massive benefit. Cell phones suck. So literally asking the question, do you have corporate cell phones? Let him do it.
That client actually called you and said, can I do a case study?
Yes.
We didn't even ask them.
Yeah. So we have a great case study, and they would be a reference in 2 seconds.
I think it's basically we get some of the savings for that same 3.8 million. Is that something?
So that's an interesting one. We sold this as an inventory. It was a quick go get and Pam says, found a bunch of
Yeah,
billing.
we found fraud.
I said, let's show it to them. So it wasn't actually in scope, we just got it.
If we'd gotten it back, we would
Normally we
have,
take
but because they sued in court,
Yeah.
it was.
Wait till it settles out.
Yeah.
So no, it was out of scope, unfortunately.
Did I miss anything there?
No, that's great, man, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Okay, one last one. Whoops, I'm gonna skip over first.
Oh.
Well, whichever one you want to do.
Can we do Ferguson?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because, okay, so Ferguson's our own internal account. Us acting as, Simon's gonna tell a little bit about what we do there. We have to be quick about it, but, this is, from my perspective, this is land and expand. So we had a contact there that we've done business before. And so last year, right before we were acquired, actually 2 years ago, they asked us to come in and do an audit. Kind of like what Ryan was talking about, and we had Pam.
They're 10, they had a 10 in
They
place.
had a 10 in place. We did an audit and found a couple $1 million worth of savings. And that led them to realize their 10 wasn't doing a good job, and they went to RFP, and we won the RFP. So you can see it takes a little bit of time, right? But the progression. So go ahead, Simon. You talk up here.
I think you pretty much covered all the big points, but, so Ferguson's about 29 billion a year in revenue, maybe around 34 billion. They're spending about 25 million or so on their telecom. There's only telecom, not technology.
It's a plumbing supply. Anybody do a renovation and go buy something from Ferguson? That's what this is.
And because of time, I'll skip the jokes on flushing money down the drain, but it's a lot of money to spend. So they hired, as Eric mentioned, their existing customer, or excuse me, one of the pyramid person was a legacy client, right? Moved to Ferguson, they knew what we could do, they brought us on board. We did the audit, found 1.5 million. The audit focused on a select service, not even all of their spend. There's additional money that we found was 500,000 after the 10 was installed, because we got access to all of their savings, right? The cool stuff is, it's the agency side too. So we got paid on the audit, 1.5 million, percentage of that. We're now doing 10, pretty significant, 25 million years we're managing for them to spend. And now we have access to the data. We can see the contracts, the spend, when they expire. Working together, we have a POTS in a box conversion going for 900 locations. There are about 2,500 locations in that company. So there's growth, not even just in the POTS, but it doesn't cover the networks, doesn't cover all the other technology that company has deployed. So it's a lot. That's a
Yeah, once again, yeah.
That's great.
So once again, like that, get us in there, we start to uncover stuff, uncover. And while we're talking about big accounts, this is cookie cutter across, so you want to talk about that?
Yeah, just real quick, Oceaneering is a big one that Charlie brought us in. The main point here is you see the products, expense management, mobile, and the order management. We're doing their day-to-day orders, managing all their mobile, managing all their expenses. So all in one shot, and now nice agency opportunities, Charlie's seeing again. But you can see everything. So you see the theme here, right? You're gonna see more stuff, you're gonna sell more stuff. Any
Or you
questions?
can get started with project management, like we're doing at OBE and so forth, so, we're open for business, give us a call.